Welcome to GDs, and this is BMF, Season 1. Season starts in 2005 Detroit, with Demetrius Flannery, aka Big Meech, returning home after a long absence, and feels happy reconnecting with his past. We then jump back in time, to the late 1980s, and we get to see the Flannery family. Meech's father Charles, and his mother Lucille, are hard-working honest people. He also has a younger brother, Terry, and a younger sister, Nicole. Meech, seeing his family struggle to make ends meet, and wanting to live like a king, was influenced by the lifestyle of Pat, a local drug lord. So he decided to work for him, in order to have a better life. He not only joined himself, but also allowed his brother to join in with him. Fast forward a few years, Meech and Terry are now running their own crew. But with them growing, they also had to deal with other rival gangs. During a meeting with one such gang, the 12th Street Boys, Terry pulls out a gun to threaten them. Meech, not wanting to escalate the matter, tells Terry to put down the gun, and as a show of good faith, agrees to leave a contested street corner for the 12th Street Boys. As they return home, Meech was not happy with Terry for what he did, and he tells him that they are not ready to go to war, as they have a smaller crew. In addition, having a better product will automatically bring the customers to them. He also tells him to dispose of the gun he got. Later, as they sit down for the family dinner, we learn that their parents are aware of Meech's illegal activities, but are unaware of Terry's involvement with his brother. In addition, we also get to know that Terry has a baby on its way. And later we get to see him visiting his girlfriend. Terry is also going to school, where a classmate tries to bully him. On the other hand, Meech goes to see Pat, who has now become his supplier. Being there, he also learns about Lamar Silas, a psycho drug dealer, who used to terrorize all the gangs before he was locked up, and only got out early, as his lawyer secured him an insanity defense, and thus he was only given 4 years imprisonment in a mental hospital. Meech and Terry, losing their prime street corner, set up at a new place, but they were being annoyed by a local lady. It is when we get to know about a working relationship between Meech and Detective Von Bryant. Detective Bryant was able to get the lady who was bothering them to back off by threatening her. Despite the lady backing off, their crew was not able to sell their product, and one of their crew member, Cato, tells them that no one is interested in paying $50 for their product. As Meech returns home, he learns that his parents found a gun in his room and were quite upset. Meech has a heated argument with his father, and he tells him that they are back on their mortgage, and he even offers to pay for it. But his father was not willing to take his money, and tells him to pack up and move out of his house. Meech gets out and spends the night with Monique, a girl whom he has been seeing. Lamar also shows up at Monique's house, and we learn that they used to date, and Lamar believes that Monique's daughter is his daughter. Monique, afraid of Lamar, tells him to leave, reiterating that her daughter is not his. But Lamar, being obsessed with her, watched her house and sees Meech coming out. As Meech was leaving, Lamar hits him with his car and tells him to stay away from Monique, or next time he won't miss. While on the streets, their product was not moving, and B. Mickey, one of Meech's closest friends, also believes that no one is willing to buy their product. Knowing this, Terry comes up with an idea to make a stronger batch and market it in a new way, and Meech agrees to his idea. With them cooking a fresh batch and marketing it in a better way, they were able to move their product quickly and profitably. Later, we get to see Meech's and Terry's gang, the 50th Boys, attending the birthday party of Pat, where they get to meet with Pat's other business partners. Lamar was also at the party, and the 12th Street Boys tried to bring him into their fold, but he was not interested, and pushed them away. He also seemed quite upset on seeing Meech with all his bling. At the party, Terry was confronted by a school bully, but with Meech backing him up, he backed off. As they were leaving the party, they paid Pat and asked for more product, but Pat shuts them down, telling them that they cannot push so fast, as it will attract attention. With the brothers having no product, they felt being controlled by Pat, and thus wanted to explore other options for their supply. Later, we get to see Wanda giving birth to Terry's son, and the family was quite happy. Meech, looking for a new supplier, finally got a meeting with a potential new connect, and he asks Terry to join him for the meeting. But as Terry gets in his car, someone pulls a gun and shoots him. With Terry being shot, Meech reaches the hospital with a gun, ready to go to war. Detective Bryant calms him down, and tells him that it seems to be a case of carjacking. As his family reaches there, his mother is quite angry with Meech, as she believes that Terry got shot because of his illegal activities. Terry, despite being shot in the head, was quite lucky, as he survived. While Meech, not sure who was behind the shooting, gets his men to protect his family, and asks Kato and B. Mickey to move their stash house. Meech then goes after Kwame, the one with whom Terry had a beef in school, and he beats him up. Kwame assures him that he had nothing to do with his brother's shooting, and Meech believed him. At the hospital, Terry wakes up after his surgery, and tries to leave, as he does not want Meech to be out on the streets by himself. But he ends up falling and passing out in the hallway. Getting out after the second surgery, the doctor informs them that Terry might lose his vision, and his father thinks it is because of their medical negligence. Meanwhile, we see Lamar approaching J. Mo, the leader of 12th Street Gang, wanting to join them. His second-in-command Fillmore was not sure, as he pushed them away before, but one of their gang's old members, Slick, supports Lamar, and J. Mo agrees with him, and sends him on a run with him. It is when we learn that Slick and Lamar used to run together. Lamar tells Slick that he wants an army, as he plans to go to war. He also tells him that he heard that it was J. Mo who put out the hit on Terry, and the rumor spreads on the street like a wildfire. With J. Mo's name being out, the 50th Street Gang wants to go after 12th Street. B. Mickey shares the same with Meech, but Meech is not sure. As Meech goes to check on his brother, and they talk, Terry tells Meech that he doesn't think that it was J. Mo who went after him, and he believes it to be the work of Lamar, as they not only took his corner, but Meech also got involved with his girl. Meanwhile, Lamar tries to connect with Monique's daughter Zoe, and goes to see her. But Zoe, being afraid of him, walks away. Later, Monique visits him, and tells him to stay away from her family. Slick, seeing Lamar's desire to get back with Monique, tells him to try a softer approach, showing her that he has changed. Listening to his advice, he tries a different approach, which results in Monique letting him in, and allowing him to establish a relationship with Zoe. Meech, knowing that if they go to war with the 12th Street Gang, a lot of bodies will fall, thus in order to be sure that it was J. Mo who ordered the hit on his brother, gets Detective Bryant to bring J. Mo to him. Detective Bryant, before dropping him off, tells Meech that he should only ruffle his feathers, and nothing more. Meech threatens J. Mo, wanting to know if he was the one responsible for his brother being shot. J. Mo tells him that he was not the one behind it. Meech seemed to believe him, but before he could let him walk away, B. Mickey puts him down, telling Meech that he did what was needed. While Lamar goes after Fillmore, beating him up, resulting in him being hospitalized. With both the top leadership of the 12th Street being out, Lamar, being supported by Slick, takes the reign of the gang, and promises them that they will go after the 50th boys, but first, he wants to take everything they have. He then visits Fillmore in the hospital, and threatens to kill him if he comes back. On the other hand, Meech has a meeting with Pat, and he was quite upset, as they were not able to pay him on time. Pat gives Meech 6 days to pay up, along with an extra 10% for being late. While Terry returns home, and Pastor Swift visits the Flannery home, in order to bless them. Pastor Swift gives them a reference for his niece, who is a lawyer, and can take up Terry's medical negligence case on pro bono basis. Meech comes in to check on his brother, but his father was not happy seeing him. Meech tells Terry about the debt they owe to Pat. Terry, knowing that with their current selling speed, they won't be able to pay back Pat in time. Terry, in order to increase their sales, comes up with a new selling location, as he learned that their product is in demand among the factory workers. And with some efforts, they were successful in setting up and selling in the factory area. Detective Bryant and Detective Lopez question Terry again, with Detective Lopez wanting to know whom the car belonged to in which he was shot. But seeing the line of questioning, Lucille asks them to leave, and later confronts Terry about the same. Terry assures her that he is not involved with Meech's business, and Wanda also covers for him. With their new selling site being a hit, they were able to sell fast, and Meech pays back Pat. Though he was concerned about Pat, as he saw him using his own product. Later we see Meech sitting outside his house, when his mother approaches him. She wants him to change his ways, but Meech tells her that he is the one who paid for their house's mortgage from his ways. Knowing this, she is quite angry, as he defied his father. On the other hand, with the growing drug epidemic, a new task force under Commander Beckwith is formed. Detective Lopez is all for it. But Bryant not so much. Detective Bryant, learning about J-Mo being missing, goes to see Meech, wanting to know what he did. Meech denies knowing anything, and suggests that he might be missing because of inner rivalry in the 12th Street gang. Before leaving, Detective Bryant warns them about the new task force, and tells them that moving forward, he won't be able to help them. Terry, learning about J-Mo being missing, confronts Meech, and Meech tells him everything. Terry is not happy, and tells Meech that they need to keep their crew in check, and from now on, he is going to rule with an iron fist. Later, we see them having fun, along with other members of the 50th Street, at the bowling alley. There, we see Lamar, approaching Kato inside a bathroom, and he tells her to give him information on the 50th boys, and Kato complies, as Lamar used to be friends with her father, and looked out for him. Meech and Terry, wondering who took over the 12th Street, got their answer when they saw Lamar with the 12th Street gang. Back at their home, Charles confronts Lucille about the mortgage being paid. Charles, getting to know that Meech is the one who paid the mortgage, has a heated argument with his wife, and knowing that she knew about it, he decides to walk out of the house. With the Flannery brothers having a new selling location, they were moving the products fast, and they set up a new stash house. Meech later goes to buy more products from Pat, and offers to pay up front. But Pat refuses to give them more product. It is when he learns from one of Pat's associate Rock, that Pat cannot give them what he doesn't have. Rock meets up with Terry and Meech, and offers to introduce them to a new supplier, not connected with Pat, but for a fee. Terry and Meech, knowing that in order to grow, they will need to get out from under Pat, agree for the same. Rock later calls them to meet with the buyer, but as they reach there, they are kidnapped. As they get out, they find themselves standing in front of Pat, who is furious that they went behind his back, and in order to show the Flannery boys who is the boss, he kills Rock, and asks them to dispose of his body. Meech later goes to Monique, wanting to know why she has been avoiding him. It is when he learns that she has started seeing Lamar, and Lamar tells him to leave. We then get to see Meech's baby mom, Lori, with whom he gets intimate. While later, he spends some time with his daughter. Back at his home, Pastor Swift's niece is planning to help the family with a lawsuit against the hospital. But when they go for their first discussion, the hospital lawyers bring up Terry's lifestyle, insinuating illegal activities. As they return home, they learn that the hospital offered to pay them $25,000 to settle, and the offer stands for 3 days. Charles wanted to take the money, but Lucille was not willing to do so, as she was not happy with the compensation being offered. Meanwhile, we see Lamar showing up at the food truck in the factory area, where the 50th Street were selling, and he disrupts their operation. The next day, 50th Street show up in numbers, in order to keep the 12th Street in check. But with no one showing up, Hoop feels it might have been a distraction, and he decides to head back, as no one was protecting the stash house. When he reaches the stash house, he finds that someone broke in there, and the place had been ransacked. But Hoop was able to shoot one of the intruders before he could get away. But Lamar, armed with a semi-automatic gun, blasts through the house, hitting Hoop. Kato, in order to push back Lamar, shoots at him, and is able to get him to leave. As Meech learns that they have been robbed of everything, he is quite pissed. Meech, knowing that only a handful of people knew about their stash house, thinks that Kato might have given up the location. But since she saved Hoop, B. Mickey is not convinced. On the other hand, at the police station, Detective Lopez believes that the Flannery brothers are behind J-Mo's disappearance, while Detective Bryant thinks it was Lamar, as he took over the 12th Street gang. The commander asks them to look at all the suspects, and to search the canals for evidence. With the search of canals being done by divers, they were able to find the body of J-Mo, with a gunshot to his head. With the body of J-Mo being discovered, Detective Bryant goes to talk with Meech, as he was coming out of a service with his family. But Meech refuses to answer any of his questions. Later, we see Meech paying Detective Bryant, and telling him that now they need each other even more. While Kato, returning back home, is attacked by Lamar. Lamar tells her to never point a gun at him ever again, otherwise, he will kill her. Kato, terrified by Lamar, goes to see B. Mickey, and they end up sleeping together. Terry, on the other hand, meets with a potential new connect, Big L. Big L tells Terry that she likes how he handles things, and is willing to supply to him, but she has one condition, that is, she will only work with him and not his brother. Terry, knowing that they need a new connect, agrees to her terms, and Big L tells him that she will be in touch. Thanks for watching. And if you liked it, please subscribe.